ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां दयाकरं दयाकारं दान्तं धर्मप्रवर्तकं प्रणमामि दयानन्दं मदाचार्यवरं परम्। ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेमदेवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। वेदान्तविज्ञानसुनिश्चितार्थाः सन्न्यासयोगाद्यतयः शुद्धसत्त्वाः ते ब्रह्मलोके तु परान्तकाले परामृताः परिमुच्यन्ति सर्वे। Here, this two kinds of mukti is being talked about. First, we saw yesterday how these people who are tyagis, their tyaga has been reinforced by knowledge. Without knowledge, you can give up a little bit, no problem. But then after that, you go back to that because the value for that particular thing or the set of things or for a particular lifestyle, the value that has been given up is not gone. The value is still there. You may have given something up, but the value is there, and as long as the value is there, what is there? Longing is there. There is a longing. And that longing can rear its head at any time, because how long can you suppress? So many things one gives up, and then after a while, oh, it's okay, this is fine, that's also okay. Then one slips back into that particular lifestyle. But when it is buttressed by knowledge, that's why Vedanta Vijnana Sunishchitarthaha, whose understanding has been ascertained by exposure to Vedanta, whose knowledge is firm, Dhrida Nishchayaha Ye, who are not wavering from one thing to another. They are not one day saying, I am Brahman, and second day saying, oh, Brahman is overrated. It's okay. Who has seen Brahman? Nobody has seen Brahman. It's okay if I don't understand this fully. And then some other people might say, yes, it is wonderful. I am Brahman. Yay, great. And then in the same breath they will say, does Brahman pay the bills? No, Brahman is not paying the bills. Who is paying the bills? Me. I am paying the bills. And so what use is this Brahman? It is not paying the bills for me. And then they will tell themselves and others around them, you have to be practical. Brahman is not going to pay the bills. Brahman is not going to put food on the table. Brahman is not going to help me do whatever I want to do in this life. So that Brahman over there happily living in Paramarthika and me living over here unhappily in Pratibhasika. If you live in Vyavaharika, no problem. If you are able to live in the empirical reality objectively, you are a karma yogi. You are ready to understand this knowledge. You will not get derailed. But if you don't live in Paramarthika and there is no Vedanta Shastra accompanying this whatever sadhana that you might have done, then you derail straight away into spiral downwards into Pratibhasika, a makeshift reality of your own imagination. Projection, your own projection. You live squarely in what? Jiva Srishti, not Ishvara Srishti. Living in your own Srishti, your own creation. Nobody loves me. That's your own creation. For that matter, I don't love myself either. Your own creation. I want to gain all these things. Your own creation. Nobody is letting me have these things. Your own creation. Everything is your own creation. This one is looking at me that way. That one is looking at me this way. Vedanta does not work. Your own creation. Why? Because it didn't work for me. Therefore, it doesn't work at all. Your own creation. I think I should get married. Your own creation. And then afterwards, why did I get married? Your own creation. So this way one lives in one's own world. And that one's own world is very divergent from the flow that is Ishvara, from the orders, from understanding all this. There is no other way to understand Ishvara, Ishvara's flow, the connection of this Jiva to Ishvara without Vedanta Vijnana, without exposure to Vedanta. One is drifting somewhere in a world of some kind of either a fancy, if it's good thoughts, or a nightmare, if it is difficult thoughts. So Vedanta Vijnana Sunishchitarthaha Sannyasa Yogat Shuddha Sattvaha, whose minds have been purified by either Vividisha Sannyasa, Veditim Ichha. We saw yesterday two kinds of sannyasa, Vividisha and Vidvat. Vidvat means the person already has the vision of Vedanta, and they want to drop all the roles. They want to drop all the roles and be with themselves. That is Vidvat Sannyasa. And the only example we have in the few examples, one of the examples is Yajnavalkya in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, who already knew, but he wanted to have a life that is free of any kind of roles. So either one is a sannyasi, or either of those kinds, or one has got a sannyasi-like temperament within. Within one has got that vairagya and is blessed by the knowledge of Vedanta, and then therefore these two combinations has given a mind full of cheerfulness, happiness, a relatively happy mind free of raga dvesha. This is the person. Shuddha. And what do? Te parantakale. Parantakale means, antakala means at the end of life. Parantakala means at the end of life. Why do you have to say end of life? Because sannyasi is supposed to have two births, and in order to have two births, what should you have? Two deaths. So the first death has antakala has been when the final rites of the sannyasi does at the time of taking sannyasa. Oh, you do your own funeral rites? Yes, very cool it is. Fantastic. And there is a practical reason for this. What is the practical reason? The practical reason is because sannyasi will not have any issues, literally and figuratively, but here we are talking literally. There are no children. Children are not there to do the funeral rites, so therefore you do it for yourself. But that's just a practical understanding. On a deeper level, doing your own shraddha, funeral rites, is very beautiful, because it's almost like you're acknowledging there has been a death. What death? Death of what? Don't say Atma, okay? Physical body continues. Yeah, there is no death of physical body. Ahankara. The ahankara is burnt up. The ahankara is given last rites. The ahankara as we knew it. Now, along with the death, there is a birth of a new ahankara, that's a servant. The servant ahankara, that is just light, that is one with the whole, that is one with Ishvara. That ahankara is so there is a new birth, which means what? There is a new death also. So that for the sannyasi is called antakala. Antakala is the actual taking of sannyasa through this funeral rites called Viraja Homa. So this Viraja Homa, it is administered, and then one does one's own funeral. And then, even though one is technically alive, then the person as I knew myself to be is consigned to the Homa, the flames of the Homa. What I thought I was and what all I was, all my roles, my old name, my old clothes, my old orientation towards the world, and various roles that I had, son, daughter, wife, husband, employer, employee, all that is offered to the Homa, and what emerges is somebody without roles. That's what it is. Maybe only one role, that of a devotee. That's all. There is only one role. And so therefore, Parantakala here means when that body which took the sannyasa, when that body mind sense complex meets its end, means at the very end of life. Not Antakala, not Sannyasakala, but Parantakala, at the end of the life of this yati. What happens? So two meanings are there. So based on the truth of what happens in the Shastra. So first is it is all about Brahmaloka. Brahmalokeshu. So Brahma eva lokaha. So Brahman itself is the loka. So they enter into Brahman. Enter again, we need those quotes, air quotes hanging in the air. Enter into Brahman. And then why? Because they had already entered in the form of knowledge. Yatayaha vishanti we saw earlier. Vibhrajate yad yatayo vishanti. We saw that in the previous verse. They have entered into that oneness of because of the knowledge. So here the entry is also again as though. So they continue to abide in Brahman. So what happens at the time of the Mahatma's death, Ajnani's death, the physical body is left behind for all to see, and then when it is buried, it joins or sometimes not anymore, but before they used to do here, Jala Samadhi. Used to tie weights on the body and then let it be the offering for all the fishes in the Ganga, Jala Samadhi, Ganga, Narmada, wherever. But now that is not allowed because of the terrible levels of pollution in the river. So another choice, if one has some land, ashram or something like that, then one corner can be kept for burial. That's another possibility. And so here the body is buried, so the gross body has joined what? the gross elements. Whether water disposal or earth disposal or fire disposal, it has joined the gross elements. What happens to the subtle body of the jnani? Subtle body usually is the fuel for future births, because it has the mind which is full of desires, and here the subtle body does not travel. Datasya pranaha utkramanti. Taittiriya Upanishad says that. So then the subtle body does not rise, meaning what? The subtle body joins the subtle elements. The mind disintegrates because the mind is not carrying, the mind is not the petrol for various desires. The mind is not the receptacle for things, agenda to be fulfilled either now or hereafter. There is no agenda. Even I want to go to heaven, that agenda is also not there. So the subtle body disintegrates, joins the subtle elements. What happens to the causal body? Causal body was already destroyed. When? At the time of gaining the knowledge, the causal body, which means ignorance, is already gone. So therefore, the Parantakala means there is freedom at the point of the final Mahasamadhi. Mahasamadhi means the Samadhi out of which you don't come. That is why it is called Mahasamadhi. So other Samadhis you come out of, but here when you don't come out of the Samadhi, what is that? Mahasamadhi. And so this Mahasamadhi is there, and then after that there is no more coming back. And we saw in the satsang question last week, somebody asked, in the Buddhist tradition, all the lamas come back, the rinpoches come back, and small children are taken to the room and they recognize all the things of the previous lama. We do not have that, because the vehicle is not there. The subtle body is the vehicle for future births. The vehicle has gone. If the vehicle is destroyed and the rider in the form of the ahankara was already destroyed, who is to come back and why is to come back? So that is why it says parimuchyanti sarve. Parimuchyanti. So one mochanam had already happened. One freedom had happened when? At the time of knowledge. Jivan mukti. And then the second freedom is happening when? At the giving up of the body. Actually the sannyasi doesn't see that as a freedom. Sannyasi is already what? Free. But other people say, oh, he or she is free. So then this is parimuchyanti sarve. Now this is one interpretation. Another interpretation, also in keeping with the Upanishads. So first let us look at the names of these two forms of mukti. One is Jivan Mukti, the other one is Videha Mukti. Videha means free of the body. Vigataha dehaha yasmat videhaha. So Videha Rupa Muktihi, Videha Mukti. A mukti that is defined by no longer being burdened by this body. So Videha Mukti. So while the person was alive, he or she was revered as Ishvara. After the person goes away, the body goes away, still continues to be revered as Ishvara. One with Ishvara while living, one with Ishvara after the body goes. Like even the pot space. When the pot is destroyed, what happens to pot space? Nothing happens to pot space. Before also it was one with space, now also it is one with space. So Videha Mukti, Jivan Mukti and Videha Mukti, this is one kind of a classification. Now there is also another classification, Brahma Lokeshu Parantakale. So here this is called Jivan Mukti, one that is common to both classifications, and the other one is called Krama Mukti. What is Krama Mukti? Krama Mukti is liberation in stages. So first one is free. Let's say here, after gaining the knowledge, one is free. But suppose this Jivan Mukti is not perfected fully. There is some lesha, some residue of vasanas and some desires, some problems, some sadness, something that they are not able to kick this off. But then they are doing everything correctly. They have gained this knowledge, they are living this life, they have perfected sannyasa completely. Then upon the death of such a person, such people, what happens? They indeed go to Brahmaloka, and then perhaps they just need 15 minutes of Lord Brahmaji's class to gain what is called Krama Mukti. That is called Krama Mukti, liberation in stages. Because they were not able to accomplish what needed to be accomplished right here, right now, then what do? They have to, after they leave the body, they need a little bit of pampering from Brahmaji, and then it clinches it. So both these interpretations are possible in this verse. Now, how do you get there? How do you make sure that you get Vedanta Vijnana? How do you get established in Vedanta Vijnana? One more internal device in the form of japa is given. In the next two verses, two forms of japa is given. The first one is nididhyasana, straightaway nididhyasana, and for those who find it difficult to straightaway do nididhyasana, then the second kind of japa, Saguna Brahma Upasana, is given. Both these are sadhanas for the in auxiliary sadhanas to gain self-knowledge. What is the primary sadhana for self-knowledge? Shravanam. Shravanam, Shravanam, Shravanam. Always. Shravanam is the primary, mukhya sadhanam. Primary sadhana for self-knowledge is Shravanam. Nothing other than Shravanam will do. Listening repeatedly. Listening, so somehow not getting glazed over. Oh yeah, this was already told in the past, so let me go off on a fancy. No. I listen again, because then the next time I listen, it sits differently. It sinks deeper. So I always keep my demeanor, my temperament should be as a sadhaka to be in the place of listening. When? All the time. I am able to be fresh and sitting and listening without getting bored. This is the idea. I keep myself as a listener. Now, in order to be fresh and listening, because the mind is going all over the place, the mind has to be trained. The mind has to be available to sit and listen. Otherwise, some noise, oh, who is going there? Some other noise, oh, what happened over there? One gets completely distracted. And distraction is of two kinds. One is called vikshepa. Vikshepa means projections, distractions in the form of various thoughts which are projections. The other one is what? Laya. Laya means? Yes. Laya means I'm not here anymore. So this laya and vikshepa can come when? During Shravanam. And as I have said before, the best kind of sleep comes in Vedanta class. Really. You can't beat that kind of a sleep. It's deep and delicious. Okay? Yeah, deep and delicious sleep comes in Vedanta class because of the blessings of Lord Krishna. Yes. The sleep goddess goes to Lord Krishna. Gudaka Devi says, these people are crazy. Where is my Adhipatya? Where is the place where I am supposed to reign? They don't go to sleep at all. They are like night owls. They are always awake. Even in the middle of night, they are doom scrolling their various devices and updating Facebook at 3 a.m., 2 a.m. What's wrong with these people? Always they are awake and they are hyper. Where is my reign? You promised me that I will have a reign over people. And Lord Krishna said, yes, what you say is true. People are crazy. And he felt bad for her. So he said, Wherever there is Vedanta class, you can go there. Wherever there is Harikatha, means stories of me, you can go there. That's why the best sleep comes in Vedanta classes. But we have to fight this. We can't say, oh, Lord Krishna has blessed me to sleep, therefore I'll sleep. That's not the idea. So, Lord Krishna has also blessed you to listen. Why only selectively you choose sleep? Huh? Tell me? Not fair. So then we have this is very, very important. We have to see this very clearly and totally. That there is a reason to train the mind to get away from this vikshepa, to get away from this laya, so that it can just learn to be, for the sake of Shravanam. So then these forms of meditation, upasanas, are there in the Upanishads also. Even though it is jnana portion, it is filled with various kinds of meditations. If one doesn't work, you try another. Another doesn't work, you try the third. If none of them work, go to sleep, that's all. And so better luck next time. So therefore, many Upanishads have many upasanas, and here two very nice ones are given. Let us chant and see that. Vivikta deshe cha sukhasanastha. Shuchis samagriva shirashariraha. No, there is a mistake here. It should be atyashramastha, not antyashramastha. Atyashramastha sakalendriyani. Nirudhya bhaktya swagurum pranamya. Hritpundarikam virajam vishuddham. Vichintya madhye vishadam vishokam. Achintyam avyaktam anantarupam. Shivam prashantam amritam bhutayonim. Yeah, brahmayonim, correct, yeah. Tamadi madhyanta vihinamekam. Vibhum chidanandamarupam. Out of all kindness, Brahmaji tells how to meditate. First, vivikta deshaha. Vivikta means vijana pradeshaha, where there are not people. In India, this is a challenge. Where are there not people? No place where there are no people. Yeah. Like Brahman, people are all pervasive in India. So what to do? You have to find out. So if you can't find a place, which is Vijana Pradesha, then what do? You find a time where all those aforementioned people are in Samadhi. They are sleeping, you are the one who is awake. Then they can be right next to you, they can be sleeping here, sleeping there. You are the only one that's awake. Then they don't bother. Correct? So, either you find in Vijana Pradesha, in America, it's easy to find. Not many people. You can climb a hill, you can go in a wooded area, nobody will disturb. Here, not so much. Even if you say, I am coming to Rishikesh to leave everything behind, millions of other people also have the same idea at the same time as you have. I mean, you have noticed here, during Saturday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, what happens? What happens on this path of the Ganga? You have seen, correct? Yeah, what happens is that everybody has the same idea as you, to be one with themselves. And then, so the whole of New Delhi moves into Rishikesh. So therefore, here we have to use this a little more, creatively. So Vijana Pradesha may not be possible. So I find a time where other people are not active. That is when Brahma Vela, morning, early morning. Early morning, not many people are afoot, and so that means what? First, I have to get up, okay? That's a small problem, but it should be slowly overcome. We have to reset what is called circadian rhythm. Everybody has a certain rhythm. The rhythm is connected to Ishvara, the sun in the form of Ishvara. So the body responds to the sun and then creates certain waking hours and then sleeping hours. There is a thing called melatonin which helps one to sleep. It is created by the body during the evening time when everything is winding up. But even Ishvara is confused because we don't know how to wind up, and then we are always staring at the phone, which has got something called, what is that called? Blue light. This blue light is there, and I am constantly staring at this blue lit phone, and so Mr. Melatonin is confused. Should I get ready for bed or should I not? And then we have all kinds of artificial lights and all these things. And so therefore, in Kali Yuga, especially right now with all these various devices, we have to work harder to reset the circadian rhythm by going to bed at the same time and waking up at the same time. Oh, but it's not possible. Try it. Try it. It is possible. No, but I can't sleep. You will be able to sleep. Some Ayurvedic remedies are there. So many things are there. You can do that. You can help yourself to that. And then, so you wake up at a time when everybody is not awake. Vivikta deshe. And then, sukhasanasthaha. Sukhasanasthaha means the position for the meditation must be comfortable. If you say, I am going to meditate in Vrikshasana. What is Vrikshasana? One-legged tree pose. So you are standing on one leg, the other leg is bent and is placed above the knee of the first leg, and the hands are up in the air in Namaskar position. And if you start meditating like that, what will happen? Fall. You will definitely fall. So therefore, any kind of position other than Sukhasana. Sukhasana means simple lotus pose. Or you can do Vajrasana also. Or you can do Padmasana also. Something where the focus is not always on the legs. And the focus is not on keeping the balance, because in order to go deep, I have to be stable. The body has to be stable. Otherwise the depth of thing will not go. One will not go deep into meditation. The body has to be stable, and to stabilize the body, the asana is very important. Sukhasanasthaha. So the one who is Sukhasane sthitaha, Sukhasanasthaha. So Vivikta deshe, in a Vijana Pradesha, not many people are afoot, because it's also the time when the people are not awake. And so you sit there, and then we can also help ourselves from the Bhagavad Gita, because the 6th chapter also gives us some clues. So, Kushagras you take. Over that you put an deer skin of a deer that has died naturally. You don't go hunting to get the deer skin. So deer skin that has died. So nowadays we don't bother about the deer skin. kusha grass, over that a soft cloth, otherwise the grass will prick. So nice thick soft cloth is put, and then you sit. What about standing meditation? You can do, but it won't be this kind of a meditation that is taught in the Upanishads. What about walking meditation of the Buddhists? That also you can do. It's actually quite nice, but that's more of a exercise in mindfulness. We won't call it upasana in this. In fact, all this we don't have to double guess this, second guess this. We don't have to do that. The ancients have already done it for us. In the Brahma Sutra, there is a nice debate which is the correct position for meditation. The answer is seated. Asinas Sambhavat. That's the name of the Brahma Sutra. Asinaha Sambhavat means this kind of a meditation is only possible while sitting down. So forget about, you can do walking meditation. There's places to walk. You can go do whatever you think is walking meditation, praying meditation, cooking meditation, watching TV meditation, whatever you want you do. But it is not upasana as taught by the Vedas. Okay? So, vivikta deshe sukhasanastha. And then further on how the body should be held, sama kaya shiro grivaha. Griva, neck. Kaya, body, torso here. And then shiraha means head. The head, neck and body, back, are in a single line, straight line. Why? Why should it be in the straight line? Because as one starts to go deeper, there is the tendency for the head to come down and for the body to slump forward. This is to be avoided because there is a deeper vantage point that one can go to if one is able to maintain the posture throughout meditation. So yes, in the middle of the meditation, when there is an immersion and an absorption, the head starts to go down, but suddenly you remember samam kaya shirogrivam and bring it back. Bring the head and the neck back. And then what else is the next thing? Yeah, shuchihi. Shuchihi here covers what the Bhagavad Gita describes as sparshan bhakyan bahihi kritva. You sit down to meditation along with extra baggage. There is one suitcase on this side, one suitcase on this side, one suitcase in front, maybe another suitcase in the back. What do these suitcases contain? Memories, resentment, fears, questions, sorrow, disgruntlement, pain. All these things, regret, hurt. These are all the suitcases one brings. Why do I bring all these suitcases? Because I don't know how to leave them away. I don't know how to be without them. They have become this baggage, the emotional baggage that one carries, has apparently become part and parcel of oneself. One doesn't know how to leave it behind. But here, shuchihi means getting to the place of overriding that for the time being. Finding purity in the mind by overriding this, these various things, baggages. How to do that? By letting things be, by letting people be. That's why when we meditate, what do we say? I give the mother to be free, however she was, however she is. I give her the freedom. Father, this is how he was, this is how he is. And we add, in my perception, because I may be wrong, I don't know, but this is how I feel he was, he is. And so then what? Then if this is how he was, if this is how he is, then there is two fathers actually. One objective father wherever he is, wherever he was, and one father that has been loaded onto the unconscious, subconscious mind in the form of somebody who is just a ball of agenda. So the internalized father is what? Is just my expectations, unmet expectations. The internalized mother, my unmet expectations, my own agenda. And so when I give the freedom to be however she is, that means what? This agenda has no place there. So in so giving the freedom to the primary caregivers, I give myself the freedom to be free of that internal baggage, at least for right now. Maybe later on it will come back because it's a chronic issue. Therefore, I have to do this repeatedly. That is what, see how beautiful one term, shuchihi, purity. That purity means baggage free. So the extra baggage is checked in somewhere, and then I come to sit and meditate. Or in the process of sitting, I let the baggage just go. You can even do it to a person in your own life right now. Doesn't have to be mother, father, somebody in your life every day. Think of the person, give the person the freedom to be whoever they are, and then be free of wishing that they would be someone else, wishing that they would take care of this need or that need. Shuchihi, very beautiful. So this shuchihi means baggage free, relatively cheerful. And then atyashramasthaha. Atyashrami means the one who has transcended all the ashramas. Who is that? Sannyasin. So here, atyashramasthaha, one may argue, I am wanting to meditate, I am not a sannyasi. Why is it telling me to be a sannyasi? It is, for that 48 minutes that you meditate, you take temporary sannyasa. It's almost like a sannyasi is meditating. Meaning, you give up all the things which you are holding or which are holding on to you. In some Buddhist countries, I was there in Thailand, there is a university, a Buddhist university where people come to study. And then there is a very interesting practice they follow. What do they follow? They make everybody a sannyasi. Everyone they give orange clothes. And for 2 years, 3 years they study, they get their degree in religious studies, whatever it is. They study all the Buddhist scriptures, they also can get a degree. They get an academic degree, it's a university, Longkorn Chula University or something it is called. And then it is a Theravada Buddhist university, so they get their degree also. And after they get their degree, 2 years, 3 years, however long they are there, then they are asked if they want to continue as a sannyasi or if they want to go back. If they want to go back, no problem. They have a little ritual where they take off the sannyasi clothes and then go join the rest of the humanity. They can get married, find a job, whatever it is. But this kind of a temporary sannyasa, in a way, it is very, very useful because one gets a hang of a lifestyle, what this lifestyle is really about. And in a mini way, for the 3-month course, any long-term course, wearing white clothes is a similar attempt of sannyasa. Because in our tradition, we take sannyasa very seriously. Once you wear those clothes, you don't take them off. So it's a point of no return. So therefore, wearing white clothes is like giving yourself baby sannyasa. And then seeing what that does to the frame of mind. What that does. White clothes or yellow clothes one can wear and then see what it does to the frame of mind. And so, shuchihi. And then what else? Atyashramasthaha. Atyashrame tishtati iti atyashramasthaha. The one who is in the final ashrama or the one who has transcended all the ashramas. And then sakalendriyani niruddhya, managing the sense organs and the organs of action. Managing the sense organs and then managing the organs of action also. How to manage the sense organs? It is said, have the eyes closed. If the eyes are not closed, somebody comes in late. Aha, you came in late for meditation. And here you pose as so spiritual. See, you didn't wake up on time. The mind goes here. The mind goes somewhere else. Who came? Who left? Why did you leave early? It was not yet over. All these thoughts come, so better to close the eyes to get free of distractions. Then what else? You close the eyes, and also the Bhagavad Gita says, Dishascha anavalokayan. The pupils of the eyes, the pupils must not be restless behind the closed eyes. I am looking this side, I am looking that side. The restless pupils should not be there. It is suggested you look as though you are looking in front at the tip of the nose. Samprekshya nasikagram swam. So as though you are looking at the tip of your own nose. This is one way of lessening indriya cheshta, unnecessary movement by the indriyas. Already the body is held still anyway. So the mind and the other indriyas are also stilled through these kinds of upayas. There are certain upayas. One more upaya is there, very interesting. Somewhere in the Upanishad, one upasana says, maintain the tongue in between the two teeth. Don't let it touch the upper murdha, and don't let it touch the talu downstairs. Suspend the tongue, and then that gives better focus. That's what they say. So through these ways, I not control. Niruddhya does not mean control. I manage the organs of action and the sense organs. I manage them to better focus on the meditation. And then the meditation begins with a prayer. Swagurum pranamya. Start with an invocation of the Guru. Why? Because the Guru is the one who taught you how to meditate. And so when you think of the Guru, then all the meditation that the Guru has done and all the good wishes of the Guru in your meditation. So thinking of Pujya Swamiji, we start to meditate. So thinking means bowing mentally bowing to the Guru of all Gurus, we meditate. And then what happens is that there is a certain kind of a commitment. You're telling the Guru that, oh, look, I'm doing what has been told. Bless me to come out of this meditation a better human being. Bless me to sit for as long as it takes to sit, so that I'm not all the way distracted. If Guru you don't want, you can take any. You can take Dakshinamurti, Krishna, Rama, Durga, Parvati, Parameshwari, anything you can take, doesn't matter. But it starts with a small invocation, small silent prayer, a nod to all the graces upon whose shoulders we stand in order to get to this place. How we have been blessed, we acknowledge that. Then what do you do? Gurum pranamya, and then the fifth verse, the sixth verse continues with what is the topic of meditation. Here the topic of meditation is the self. Self means what? Atma. Now, isn't there a duality? Who is meditating? Atma. What is the topic of meditation? Atma. How is this possible? It is only possible through not a meditation in the form of a prayer, but in the form of contemplation. Contemplation upon that consciousness, or contemplation of that as that consciousness which is free of raga, dvesha, free of form, free of all kinds of limitations. So then how to do it is elaborately given. Hrit Pundarikam Virajam Vishuddham. Hrit Pundarika means the heart, first of all, is seen as a lotus bud. It is like a closed, it is, if you see the picture, not of the heart that you make, okay? Yeah, not of the heart that you draw, but the real heart, which is in the body, resembles a closed lotus blossom, closed bud. And it is the size also of a small lotus bud, and so it's called Hrit Pundarika. Pundarika, lotus. Hrit, in the form of the heart. In the form of the heart, that heart lotus becomes the site of meditation. And in fact, what is recommended in this particular upasana called Hrit Pundarika Upasana is that you visualize the heart lotus in the right chest cavity. Why? What is the left chest cavity occupied by? Heart. And there, if you start visualizing, there could be agitation, there could be disturbances. So you visualize the lotus, like a small lotus, in the right chest cavity, where it is free of any organs, so there is space, so some kind of anxiety doesn't come up or confusion doesn't come up. There's already this, where is the room for this lotus? When you imagine how two hearts can be there, all these things should not be there. So therefore, taking that guesswork away, you visualize in the right chest cavity, you visualize this heart lotus, which is, and you meditate, contemplate upon this heart lotus, which is the truth of yourself. The heart lotus is, mind you, is just an aid to the meditation. It is not to be really visualized at all times. It is visualized in the beginning, that's all, to focus, to concentrate. And then, what is this Hrit Pundarika? What is this self? This self symbolized by the heart lotus, it is Viraja. Vigataha Rajo Gunaha Yasmat, from which all Rajas has departed. Virajaha. Virajaha means there is no Rajas anymore. No restlessness, no movement. And what is that? Atma. Atma is not restless. So I visualize this heart lotus symbolizing the Atma as what? Free of any kind of rajas. Free of anger, free of vengeance, free of lashing out, free of restlessness, free of any movement. Shanta, prashanta. And it is also Vishuddha, free of ragadvesha. The self that I am, that I understand myself to be, that I am getting ready to meet, is free of raga dvesha. No raga, no dvesha, and then I may have raga dvesha, but that I is just a false superimposition upon this, the truth of myself. So I connect to that which is free of raga dvesha, and then what else? Then vichintya madhye hritpunda vishadam vishokam. Vichintya means contemplating on this. Madhye means, madhye should go hritpundarikam. Hritpundarikam madhye. That madhye goes with hritpundarikam. In the heart cavity, that is in the chest cavity, occupied by the lotus shaped heart. What is there? So, Virajam, Vishuddham, we saw. Vichintya, Vishadam, Vishokam. Vishadam means, again, pure. Vishadam. Pure means again all the raga, dvesha, kama, krodha, moha, lobha, mada, matsarya, all these things, jealousy, anger, fear, pride, delusion, all these things are gone, from which? That is consciousness. This consciousness, the truth of myself, is available right here. in the heart space. It is available right here. It is there. It is myself alone. And I am this right now. It cannot be that I am meditating upon this. No, there is nothing to meditate upon. Why? Because it is me. Adi Shankara says in the Kathopanishad Bhashya, he says, Param chet, aparam chet dhyayeta, param chet jnayeta. If we are talking of Param Brahma, Nirgunam, which is formless and free of name and form, which is the truth of myself, which is consciousness, embodied as though in this body-mind-sense complex, then this cannot be a topic of meditation. What is it? A topic of contemplation, meaning I can only identify with it. And I can revel in it and identify with it repeatedly. I cannot make it a point of meditation. I cannot meditate upon it because it is myself alone. And so, Vishadam, and then what else? Vishokam. Vishokam means free of depression, free of sorrow. Shoka, sorrow. Vigataha, shokaha, yasmat, free of sorrow. It is free of sorrow. This I, which is free of sorrow, Shivam. Shivam means the most auspicious one. Why is it auspicious? Because nothing bad can happen when there is no rajas, when there is no sorrow, when there is no baggage. Nothing bad can happen. It never comes to an end. There is nothing amangalam here. It is mangalaswarupam. Therefore, it is Shivam. Shivam, and then must be Shantam, something comes, yeah. Prashantam. Shivam and Shantam go together. Prashantam means like a clear and tranquil lake, like a placid lake which reflects everything around it exactly as it is. Prashantam, objective, free of disturbance. Free of disturbance from the surroundings, free of incapable of being disturbed by oneself, incapable of being disturbed by the surroundings, incapable of even adhidaivika disturbance. Why? Because that Atma is not prone to disturbance at all. And so it is Nirguna. And then what is it? Prashantam, Amritam. Amritam means Anandaswarupam. That which is limitless, Amritam. Never comes to an end. That's why it is Anandaswarupam, Amritam. And then what is it? Brahmayonim. Brahmayonim means it is Brahman, and it is, what is it? It is the truth of, it is the source of the entire universe. So I meditate, I contemplate upon my own nature first as free of all gunas, free of everything, and also as the truth of the universe. Brahma eva yonihi, Brahma yonihi. That Brahman is the yoni, the source of everything. So whatever is there, I am that source. I am. And then it's going to be said later, Mayyeva sakalam jatam mayi sarvam pralinam. Like this it's going to say. Everything has been born from me, everything is sustained by me, everything goes back to me. And then there it is more of a, what is that, lakshana, the tatastha lakshana. We'll see that later, don't worry about it. There it is a particular definition of Brahman as Ishvara, Jagat Karanam. Here it is more as an acknowledgement. It's the sourceless source, the causeless cause, the causeless cause. Here it is Swarupa Lakshana that we are talking about. My own nature as the Swarupa of everything. And then a few other things are there. Adimadhyanta, Vihinam, Ekam, Vibhum, etc. We'll see that after the weekend. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.